Hey there, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a custom list in SharePoint Online. So the first thing that you want to do is navigate to the SharePoint Online site that you want to create your list in. And then you want to click on the site contents. Okay. On the site contents, you want to go ahead and click on New, and you want to click on List. Now, SharePoint Online is going to give you the option to select from some of these template lists that are sort of pre-built for your use. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and click on blank list so we can start from scratch. And in this scenario, we're going to create an invoice tracker. This is a list that will be used to record the details about invoices that need to be sent through an approval and review workflow and ultimately sent to finance for approval. So you want to enter your list name and go ahead and click create. All right, so this is your SharePoint list, and what you'll notice is that there is only one column here by default to start. This column is named title. So what we're going to do is we're going to repurpose this column and rename it to invoice description. So to do that, you want to click on the column and you want to click on column settings, and then you want to click on rename. Okay, so I'm going to just call this invoice description. I'm going to go ahead and click save. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add another column. So to add a new column to this list, you want to go ahead and click on add column. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a column called invoice date. And for this column, I'm going to go ahead and select date and time. And I'm going to give this column a name, invoice date. Okay, in the data type, you don't have to touch this. We've already set this column to date and time. We're going to leave include time to off. Okay, we're just going to leave friendly format to off, and we're going to go ahead and click on more options. We're going to check this on. This is going to make this column required, and we're going to turn off add to all content types for all of the columns that we create in this tutorial, so that we don't add this column to all of the different content types which define metadata that we'll record in SharePoint. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save. All right, great. We've added our invoice date. I'm going to add our next column, which is invoice amount. So again, click on add column. And in this case, we're going to select the data type currency. Want to name this column invoice amount. Okay, we're just going to set the number of decimal places to 2. Okay, and we're going to leave the currency format as is. Then we're going to go ahead and click on more options. We're going to check make this required and turn off add to all content types and go ahead and click save. All right, next we are going to add a column called vendor. This is going to be used to capture the vendor name. So you want to go ahead and click on single line of text. Okay, and you want to click on more options, make this required, turn this off, click save. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a status column. This is going to be used to track the status of an invoice. So for this column type, we're going to select choice. All right, so we're going to call this status. And on a choice column, you can actually set your answer types or your choices. So we're going to have 4 of them. The first one is going to be pending approval. The second one is going to be approved. The third one is going to be more information required. And the last one is going to be paid. Okay. And you could change the color of these answers if you wanted to just by clicking on this little palette. Okay. What we're also going to do is we're going to set a default value, and we're going to set this to pending approval. So this means every time a new item is added to this list, it is automatically going to default to pending approval. That's sort of the first step in the workflow we'll build for this invoice tracker. Then you want to go ahead and click on more options. With the choice type column, you have the choice to choose between drop down or radio buttons. We're just going to leave this as is. And again, we're going to make this a required field and turn off this option here. Go ahead, click save. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add columns that will be used to track key individuals in the workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Column, and this time I'm going to select Data Type Person. Okay, and this first column is going to be the requester. This represents the person who submitted the invoice or entered the invoice into this list. Okay, now you want to click on More Options. Okay, and again, we're going to make this required, turn this option off. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and click on Save. Okay, now we're going to add another column, and again, we're going to select Person. This time we're going to call this Manager. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and click on More Options, and again, we're going to make this required, and we're going to turn this off, and we're going to click Save. And the last person column that we're going to add is going to be finance. And so ultimately these invoices will end up with finance for payment. So you want to click on More Options. Okay, make this required, turn this off, and we're going to go ahead and click Save. Okay, now we're going to add one more column, and this column is going to be called Comments. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add Column, and I'm going to select multiple lines of text. And we're going to call this column Comments. I'm going to click on More Options. With a multi-text column, you have the option to allow for enhanced rich text. So you can see the description that's allowing text with pictures, tables, hyperlinks. I'm going to turn this on. Okay. And in terms of appending changes to existing text, that's if we're overwriting the comments. Do we want to just keep that history? We're going to leave this off because we're going to let the actual audit trail record the history of an invoice. We're going to make this a required field, and again, toggle this off, and we're going to go ahead and click Save. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and test this. I'm going to click on New. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and enter a description, so new laptop. I'm going to enter my invoice date as today. I'm going to enter my invoice amount, so $2,500. The vendor is Dell. You can see here the status defaulted to pending approval. I'm going to go ahead and select the requester, so that's me. I'm going to go ahead and select the manager, that's me again, and I'm going to go ahead and enter the finance personnel, and that's me again. Okay, if I wanted to add an attachment, I could click on this and add the actual attachment to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And there you go. We've now created our invoice tracker. You can see this item there. You can again actually click into this and edit or add comments if you wanted to, or you can click on Edit in Grid View and actually just edit this in line as if you were working with a spreadsheet. Okay, so that's a quick overview outlining how to create a custom list. Again, in this scenario, we created a invoice tracker. I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you did, please like it, please drop a comment below, and please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay up to date on the latest SharePoint Online and Microsoft Power Automate tutorials. And you definitely want to check out the next tutorial, which is going to show you how to send email notifications to these different individuals based on changes in the status. All right, thanks for stopping by. Talk soon.